Mr. Goldman, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to follow up on your last answer, Dr. Is it Haim?
Haim, yes, sir.
You believe that the suicide rate for people who identify as transgender is going up because they are being told by other people that they are in the wrong body? Is that what your testimony is?
Yeah.
So the suicide rate is not going up because there are people like you who are telling them that they must be mistaken if they feel something different than what you think they should.
That question was a little worded. Can you clarify it?
Sure, because it relates, I think, to Mrs. Savage as well. It's pretty remarkable to hear that the reason why the suicide rate in the transgender community is so much higher than other communities is somehow because these innocent kids who don't want any of this gender-affirming care, who don't go to their parents and talk at length about how they're feeling, and instead are, through their parents, controlled by some transgender industrial complex to convince transgender people that no, even though unquestionably your life would be so much simpler if you just carried on as you are, because you wouldn't be the subject of a hearing in a subcommittee based on one case. It's pretty shocking to me that that actually is the rationale, but it does clarify a lot for me because I wonder, you talk about the actual care and the impact that it has on these children. Is it your testimony here today that the doctors who provide that care to the children don't know what the impact that it has on the kids?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, it's not care because what they're doing is harming the patients. And that's exactly what I would say. The doctors who are doing this are misinformed about what they're doing. They don't understand the pathology they're treating because gender dysphoria is a problem of the mind, but they're using solutions of the body. That is where you're wrong.
And so it's a dysphoria of the mind, so psychiatric care is what they need.
I believe, yeah.
Maybe conversion therapy?
Excuse me?
Conversion therapy, maybe?
What do you mean by conversion therapy?
Well, I would say you seem to know everything about the medical field. I'm sure you understand.
Well, I would say conversion therapy is using hormones,
it was
blockers,
a rhetorical
and surgery
question, sir, and I'll reclaim my time. Let me ask you a little bit about the process. I'm sorry, I only have 5 minutes. Let me ask you a little bit about the process. Now, I heard your testimony earlier to be that you saw this happening, and I'm not going to get into the details as to what the Texas Children's Hospital represented it was doing or not doing. They clearly say they never had anything secretive. They were following the law. But you felt like you had come upon something that was very damaging to child patients. And obviously you're aware of HIPAA. And I assume you're aware of, as a medical doctor, what your obligations are to report anything you see as child abuse or something similar through a particular chain. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I know you testified and you said that you saw one example or a couple examples of parents who had abused children be allowed in their hospital rooms. And so therefore, even though you knew that you should go to Child Protective Services, you decided unilaterally that it would be worthless, so you weren't going to follow the proper procedures. Is that right?
Yes, CPS had proven ineffective to protect children.
Proven to who?
To me.
To you. I see. So you get to put your own judgment in instead of the parents, instead of Child Protective Services, instead of the government. Whatever you think you get to do, well, they're not going to be good, so I'm going to go to a journalist. And now you're trying to call yourself a whistleblower. But let me ask you, you said something else that I found interesting. Or maybe it was Mr. Lytle. Before you went to Mr. Rufo with this information, did you try to reach out to the Texas Attorney General?
Yes, sir.
That's Ken Paxton, right? Mm-hmm. Who has been leading the charge against gender-affirming care, correct?
Yeah.
I have an article here that you wrote in January of 2024 to defend yourself You don't say anywhere in here that you tried to reach out to the Texas Attorney General.
Yeah.
So which is true, the article or what you're testifying to here today?
I'm testifying here today that we reached out to Ken Paxton's office before the story was released in May of 2023.
And you didn't hear back?
No.
I have a unanimous consent request. I'd like to introduce this article written by Ethan Haim here, not on my watch, it's Eye on the News, the Social Order Healthcare, dated January 12th, 2024.
Without objection.